this is set far back enough. I already filmed this. You saw like this much of me. So you couldn't even see on my face, least of all the books. So let's just go through it. As the title says, it is my May wrap-up June and hashtag AYearAthon TBR. I returned a bunch of books and things, and if you can hear my brother, I apologize, but there's nothing I can do. You're closer to him than me. First, I started off the month by reading the Legend graphic novel by Mary Lou Le Dragoon. She adapted it from the novel, and Kari did all of the artwork. I gave this like 2.5 out of 5 stars. The artwork's great. It cuts out a crap ton more than any other graphic novel that I know of. It doesn't hit all of the important parts. It doesn't hit the good emotional parts. Both of the characters are not Caucasian, and they're Caucasian in the graphic novel. I don't get it. It was terrible. It's the worst book to graphic novel adaptation I've seen. Then I read The Fight for Truth by Jude Watson, Jedi Apprentice number 9. This was the one that I remember being my favorite, and it was pretty darn good. It was a good 3.5, 4 out of 5 stars. I noticed the prose in this is very weird. Thanks to Harry Potter, books like this have changed the way they are written, because Harry Potter, it's this age group. They look down on kids and make it seem like they're too stupid to understand if you write it elegantly. It's like they don't understand elegance, which isn't true. I still like it because it does have some of the higher end Star Wars tech words, but not as much as it should. That was the kickoff for hashtag AYearAthon. Queen of the Darkness by Anne Bishop is what I read next, 5 out of 5 stars. Loved rereading this. It made me cry. I was shocked at how much it made me cry. Then, going on that same strain, I read Dreams Made Flesh by Anne Bishop. This one didn't make me cry, but it always chokes me up. Suleiman just rips your heart out, and it's hard to read sometimes, and yet it's so wonderful that I powered through it very quickly. Then I read The Shattered Peace by Jude Watson. This is my least favorite of the Jedi Apprentice novels I have read. This is not very good at all. This was like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The main characters drove me nuts. Blech. Hashtag AYearAthon ended while I was in the middle of Tangled Webs, but I managed to finish it shortly after, as I mentioned in my wrap-up, which is linked down in the doobly-doo. I always hated this one. It was my least favorite, and yet, maybe because I've read it 3 times before this, I didn't find it as hard to read as it was before. So it wasn't as dark as I thought. I still had to skip quite a few things, but yeah, I managed to get through it. I enjoyed it. Then I read a graphic novel I turned in, Injustice Gods Among Us Volume 3 by Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, and Julian Huguenard Brett. That's the last name. Julian or Julian, whatever your name is. I gave this a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It's just like what I said in my review of the first 2. Hard to read, couldn't put it down, have to know what happens next. Then I read another book I turned in, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, book 1 of the Mistborn series. I have a review linked down in the doobly-doo. I loved that book. I loved it. I loved it from the first line, and while I didn't laugh very much at all, it's not like The Black Jewels where it balances the dark, heavy, hard-hitting things with the more funnier, hilarious scenes. Mistborn doesn't have any of those moments, and yet I loved it. It's so unique. Then I read Beauty and the Beast, The Perfect Party. This is part of the Disney Storytime Treasures Library, and it is written by Ronald Kidd. It was good for what it is. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Another one where I was like, wow, this is kind of looking down on kids, not using the bigger words. I don't know. It's for babies, basically, or toddlers, and kids who can't really read. So it's perfect for them. I do want to own the rest of this series because they're out of print. That was on a Sunday that I read it. I read The Prince of Egypt. This is by Patricia C. Reed. This is the collector's edition of the Storytime book, and OMG, I'm so glad I found this at the library sale. It's beautiful, it's in great quality. This is the story of Moses. If you haven't seen the movie from DreamWorks, watch it. It is an animation masterpiece. The animation style is stunning. And while it's not exactly true, again, Moses didn't know in this, whereas in the Bible, actually Moses knew. He knew he was a Jew. It's got amazing songs. It's got such an all-star cast. I loved it. And the book quotes the amazing songs as well as having the same stunning artwork. Yeah, beautiful artwork. Then I read The Deadly Hunter, The Evil Experiment, and The Dangerous Rescue by Jude Watson. This is a trilogy inside the Jedi Apprentice books, and I loved it. I read these out of order. I'm reading them as I bought them, which was not in order at all because I couldn't find them. And I loved them. It was so good. It's like I hadn't read them before, and it's so well done. 4 out of 5 stars for all 3 of them. This is my favorite of the Jedi Apprentice books so far. And the last book that I managed to finish, because I couldn't get through the other ones yet, is Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. It's finally done. Boy, do I love this. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Want to own it. Can't wait for the next book. On Friday, I'm doing my book review for this. That's all that I read in the month of May. So it's kind of a lot of rereading. And this is what I have. Not a lot for me. I've done a lot better before, and I can do a lot better. Okay. On to my TBR. So, because I filmed this already, I already went through my lovely TBR jar. I haven't done 3 of them now. I still have not read a book with an award-winning novel. I have 1 page left, though. So this is getting done. I know it's #AYearAthon right now, but I needed to get through it. I have less than a page left, so I'm going to read it tonight and get done with this. So, booyah, in June, when it was supposed to be in April. I'm finally doing it. I also did not read a book I gave up on before. So I didn't get around to Tiger's Curse by Colleen Hook. So I need to read this. I need to. Not right now, during #AYearAthon. I may get to it, I may not. This is going to be sitting and staring at me though. The tiger already stares. So what I pulled up for June is read a book with a movie adaptation and watch said movie. Y'all should know what I'm planned on, and I'm so glad I pulled it out because I'm going to read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, because these I need to get through. I was planning on reading them this month sometime anyway after #AYearAthon. This is the top of my to-read list. So that's what I'm planning to do for my TBR jar challenge. As for #AYearAthon, it is catch up on a series readathon. At first I was like, I could read The Well of Ascension, but that takes all month. I have so many other books I want to get through. I already dedicated basically my month to reading Mistborn and Dreams of Gods and Monsters, hence why I did a lot of reading small things and rereading last month. I was like, I didn't want to do that again. So what I decided, it took me a while to figure it out, but I decided to go ahead and read The Ties That Bind by Jude Watson. This is Jedi Apprentice number 14, and the only Jedi Apprentice book I have not read. Catch up readathon. I have to read through this. Need to get through this. Other than that, I decided to read mostly these. These are all the Batman comics that have come into the library for me. So, just quickly going through them, I have Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 4, League of Assassins by James Tynion IV, and Julius Gopez, which I'm currently reading. I already read Damien, the Son of Batman by Andy Kubert, and the rest I need to get through. Teen Titans Volume 4, Light and Dark by Scott Lobdell, Eddie Barrows, and Eber Ferreira. Batman and Robin Volume 4, Requiem for Damien by Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Mick Gray, and John Cleese. Batman Volume 5, Zero Year, Dark City by Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Danny Mickey, and FCO Placencia. I can't say that last name. But first and second. FCO. So? I don't know. And Nightwing Volume 5, Setting Sun by Kyle Higgins, Will Conrad, Cliff Richards, and Russell Dotterman. There are other Batman comics that I need to read, but I have had these staring at me for almost a solid month. So this is my TBR for #AYearAthon Catch-Up-a-thon. I'm sorry if you can hear my brother raging. Again, you're really far away, and he is raging. Now for the rest of the month, I also started, because again, didn't know #AYearAthon, Star Wars A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller, forward by Dave Filoni. This is a prequel to the Star Wars Rebels TV show. It's how Hera and Kanan meet. And I actually learned Kanan's actual name. It's not Kanan, because then he could be tracked. Oh, it's amazing. I don't know what else I'm going to read. Gosh, it's so hot in here. I also read The Shattered Piece by, like in this one, Damon gets squashed by a 600-pound tiger that is getting yelled at. And he's like, you're a human and you're the mate to the woman yelling at me. You can fix it, right? And Damon's like, I can't breathe. Oh, I have to pull this out again. Then I read No, I didn't read this next. There's a bug right in front of me. Hence why I'm filming this again on Tuesday night when it was supposed to be uploaded yesterday. Because because I suck at camera angles. Ow, stop falling on my feet.